This is a video by Carli
and Sara
for solving the quadratic formula and completing the square. Steps for solving the quadratic formula. Number 1, get the equation equal to 0. Number 2, identify A, B, and C. A is the number with the x squared. B is the number in front of the x. C is the constant. Number 3, plug into the formula. The formula is x equals opposite of b plus or minus radical b squared minus 4 times a times c, all over 2a.
Example number 1. X squared minus 3x minus 4 equals 0. To plug in, you have to find a, b, and c. A equals 1, b equals negative 3, and c equals negative 4. So in the equation, you should get x equals the opposite of negative 3 plus or minus radical negative 3 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 4 all over 2 times 1. Now you have to simplify that. As x equals 3 plus or minus radical 9 plus 16 over 2. You have to keep simplifying. X equals 3 plus or minus radical 25 over 2. Now you have to simplify the radical. X equals 3 plus or minus 5 divided by 2. Since you have to keep finding x, there's going to be two different answers because there's a plus and a minus. X equals 3 plus 5 divided by 2, or x equals 3 minus 5 divided by 2. For x equals 3 plus 5 divided by 2, you should get x equals 8 divided by 2, which is, when you reduce it, it should be 4. For x equals 3 minus 5 divided by 2, you should get an answer of x equals negative 2 divided by 2. When you reduce that, you should get an answer of x equals negative 1.
Example number 2, x squared minus 7x equals 0. The a is 1, the b is negative 7, the c is 0. When you plug in, you should get x equals the opposite of negative 7 plus or minus the radical of negative 7 squared minus 4 times 1 times 0, all over 2 times 1. When you reduce that, you get x equals 7 plus or minus the radical of 49 all over 2. You keep reducing and you get x equals 7 plus or minus 7 all over 2. Your two answers will be x equals 7 plus 7 over 2, or x equals 7 minus 7 over 2. When you reduce those, you get x equals 14 over 2 and x equals 0 over 2. Your final answers are x equals 7 and x equals 0.
Steps for completing the square. Number 1. Make sure there is no number in front of the x squared. Number 2. Make sure the x's are on the same side. Number 3. 1/2 b squared is added to both sides. Number 4. Factor. And number 5. Solve for x.
Example number 1. X squared plus 8x minus 4 equals 0. To get the x's on the same side, you have to add 4 to both sides. which gets you to x squared plus 8x equals 4. You then have to take half of b and square it, and that gets you 16. And then you add the 16 to both sides, and you should get x squared plus 8x plus 16 equals 20. You then have to factor, and that gets you x plus 4 squared equals 20. Next, you have to take the square root of both sides. That will get you x plus 4 equals plus or minus radical 20. Next, you have to subtract 4 to both sides. That gets you x equals negative 4 plus or minus radical 20.
Example number 2. X squared plus 6x minus 7 equals 0. To make sure that the x's are on both sides, you have to add 7 to each side. That will give you x squared plus 6x equals 7. Now you have to do 1/2 of b. B squared, I'm sorry. 1/2 times 6 squared will give you 9. Now you have to add 9 to both sides. That will give you x squared plus 6x plus 9 equals 16. Now you have to factor. X plus 3 squared equals 16. Now you have to square root both sides. That will give you x plus 3 equals plus or minus 4. Now you have to subtract 3 from both sides. That will give you x equals negative 3 plus or minus 4. Now you have to do x minus 3, x equals negative 3 minus 4, or x equals negative 3 plus 4. Your answer should be x equals negative 7 or x equals 1. Thanks for watching!